You're staring at a trading chart, your heart rate spiking as the red and green candles violently fluctuate. You tell yourself you are investing, but if you are entirely honest with yourself right now, you are just chasing a dopamine hit. You're trying to outsmart a machine with raw emotion, and deep down, you know the house always wins. The reason you can't step away from the screen isn't because you lack discipline. It is because your brain is actively being hijacked by something psychologists call a variable ratio reinforcement schedule. It is the exact same neurological loop that keeps a gambler pulling the lever on a slot machine. You don't know when the reward is coming, so you just keep pulling. The financial industry has gamified your anxiety. They gave you confetti on your screen when you buy, and zero commission trades to make sure you never stop reacting. But here is the brutal truth about retail trading. Excitement is the enemy of wealth. If your investing strategy makes your heart beat faster, you aren't building a portfolio. You are funding someone else's. True wealth building is entirely devoid of emotion. It is boring. It is systematic. It is the absolute discipline of the index. Instead of trying to guess which individual company will survive the next economic crash, the wealthy simply buy the entire economy. Enter VTI, the Vanguard Total Stock Market, ETF. When you buy VTI, you aren't betting on a horse. You're buying the entire racetrack. You instantly own a piece of over 3,500 companies. VTI doesn't give you a dopamine rush. It gives you an expense ratio of 0.03% and the cold mathematical certainty that as long as the American economy continues to innovate, you will capture the upside without ever having to check a chart. You rewire your brain. You make discipline the reward, not the adrenaline. You might think you are the exception. You might think that if you just study enough chart patterns, you can beat the algorithm. But let's look at the cold, clinical data. Major academic studies tracking hundreds of thousands of traders over decades reveal a devastating reality. Roughly 97% of day traders lose money over the long term. Only about 1% actually achieve predictable, profitable returns net of fees. You are not fighting the market. You are fighting hedge fund supercomputers and your own biology. When you day trade, you instinctively sell your winners too early out of fear, and you hold your losers too long out of hope. That is not an investment strategy. That is psychological torture. This brings us back to the absolute power of the Vanguard Total Stock Market, ETF. VTI doesn't ask you to predict which tech giant will win the AI race or which healthcare company will cure the next disease. By holding over 3,500 different stocks across every sector, VTI eliminates single company risk. You own the massive mega caps, but you also own the mid caps and small caps that are quietly innovating in the background. If one company goes bankrupt, your portfolio barely registers a tremor because thousands of others are growing. You are no longer trying to find the needle in the haystack. You are simply buying the entire haystack. You are betting on the fundamental premise that, over decades, human innovation and the broader economy will always expand. The secret weapon of the wealthy isn't timing the market. It is time in the market, fueled by something called dollar cost averaging. Instead of saving up a lump sum and terrified of buying at the wrong time, you simply automate a set amount, say $100 or $500 a month, every single month, regardless of what the news is screaming. When the market is up, your portfolio grows. When the market crashes, your automated $500 simply buys more shares of VTI at a deep discount. Over a 20 or 30-year horizon, that boring automated consistency triggers compound interest. Your money starts making money, and then that new money starts making money. A consistent, emotionless contribution can realistically snowball an average salary into a multi-million-dollar portfolio. It is mathematical certainty over emotional chaos. To build true wealth, you have to grieve the dopamine hit. You have to accept that good investing is inherently boring. It is like watching paint dry or grass grow. But the trade-off for that boredom is your freedom. The ultimate flex of buying an index fund like VTI isn't just the financial return. It is the psychological liberation. You never have to check a chart during your lunch break. You never have to wake up in a cold sweat because a CEO sent a bad tweet. You reclaim your time, your focus, and your nervous system. You let Vanguard and the broader economy do the heavy lifting, while you go out and actually live your life. You stop playing the casino, and you finally become the house.